Welcome everyone to another episode of Mastering Money Mondays, where each and every week we infuse a topic that will help all of us transition from one of being a debtor and or saver into that of being a wealth creator. I am Mr. Green, affectionately known as Mr. Flip Your 401k.
And I am Cynthia Pete, also known as your financial freedom fighter.
Hey, that's what's happening. Hey, before I go any further, make sure you like, subscribe, tell your mama and them. All right, so that we can continue to push out this content for you. Now, why do we have this podcast, this show, Mastering Money Mondays? We have it because we have been taught how to make money, meaning go get an education, go get a good job. We have been taught how to manage money. Now that you're making some good money, go ahead and put that into a checking, savings account, 401k account. However, we have not been taught how to master money, meaning taking the same dollar over and over and over again, multiplying it, becoming pregnant with possibilities. So as Cynthia and I are learning more about money under mentorship, masterminds, so forth and so on, we want to pour back into community so that we can help each other along, support each other along within our financial journeys. Now, let's get into it. Episode 25. The show's topic is trust but verify. Okay. Lessons learned from deals. Lessons learned from deals. Okay. So let me talk about the pain point just a little bit. We're going to be focusing on a critical principle today, a critical principle in financial management. Trust but verify. Okay. And what does this mean? This means that even if a deal comes from someone you know or someone you vouch for, right, or by a trusted source, it is essential still to verify the credentials of that person or entity that you're dealing with, because failure to do thorough research can nip you in the behind. Am I lying, Cynthia, or am I lying?
No. So I guess, am I doing the money tip?
You're doing the money tip.
Okay, cool.
Oh, my bad, y'all. I got a peppermint in my mouth, but guess what? This is not going to be edited.
Okay.
No.
At
all.
No. So the money tip is just to always perform due diligence before entering a financial agreement. So I guess that's the money tip. And there's certain aspects of especially a real estate deal that you always need to do. So do you want me to go into talking point one?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I would say, even being a real estate investor, this is a rookie mistake that I should not have made. But you, whenever you do a real estate deal, you always need to have some type of real estate collateral for the deal. So if you loan out money, there needs to be some collateral that they put up, like another house or land that you can put a lien against their property should the deal go bad, right? You also need to just do your numbers. Real estate is a numbers game, so make sure you do your due diligence about the numbers. Do the numbers make sense? Now, I would say that in real estate, I enter high risk, investments,
Okay.
And when I say high risk, I'm saying I get 20 to 30% back on my private money loan. That's high risk, right?
Yeah.
All day, every day.
Yep.
But if you do your numbers, a lot of times it makes sense because investors are doing these short-term loans just to get the land, just to get the money to fix and flip it. And then once they sell it, they get the money back in their pocket. You get the money back in your pocket. But with the deal that in particular we're talking about, it was an unsecured loan, and that's just a rookie mistake. You just don't do that. When you have real estate, you always have another piece of real estate as collateral to secure the loan.
I like that. And by secure the loan, like Cynthia said, that means have something that's backing in case that deal falls through. You have something else that you can acquire in the deal as a substitute or supplement for whatever it is that you may have lost, whether that's money, property, whatever the case may be. So that's what she means by a secure loan. But I want to talk about these smiling faces tell lies. Hey, look, man, there's a lot of people out here in this industry, or just generally speaking, that can talk a good game, But when you actually get into the nitty gritty of the deal and that deal progresses, you come to find out the real. Like Snoop says, now that's relevant, real deal, Holyfield. Okay. So you want to, even if the person or the entity that you dealing with, or you got into the deal with, comes from a trusted and reliable source, you want to check their credentials, right? If they are, for example, a financial advisor, then you want to see if their credentials are connected to like the SEC or whatever agency that they need to be connected with based on whatever advice, guidance they are giving you. You want to vet out the firm, right? Do some research on the firm and see if you're dealing with a firm, and see if, you know, what kind of business dealings they have or have done, right? You want to check that. You want to check the track record. You also want to check really the nature of the deal. So ask as many questions as you can, especially if you're in a position where you are to collect money from the deal and the relationship that you have in that deal is not necessarily directly connected to the money source, but actually you're dealing with maybe a conduit or a liaison. You want to ask as many questions as possible to essentially bring about comfort level on, okay, how am I getting paid again? I need you to really break that thing down, not just from a surface level. I need you to break that. I need you to tell me how you plan on getting paid that will subsequently lead me to knowing how I'm going to get paid. You know, so check the professional background, the licenses, the record of the individuals, all of that thing. History of the investment, if there is any history, all of that stuff. And then make sure that you get your paperwork in order. I strongly suggest that before you go into any deal, before you sign in any paperwork, even if it is from a trusted resource, that you bring in a professional, whether it's an attorney, to be able to evaluate and think about the end result in mind, right? Meaning plan for the best, but expect the worst. So think about, okay, if this deal completely falls through, if it completely messes up, consult with that expert and say, what was my options if this thing completely goes awry, so that if it does go awry, knock on wood, we hope that it doesn't. Right. But if it does go awry, you know exactly what your exit strategy is. You know exactly what your plan is. And at the point that it does go awry, all you need to do is execute upon something that you have already come into the discovery of, because you've already had the discussions and had your documents reviewed with the appropriate parties to help support you and advocate for you in case something falls through. Because what I've learned in my journey is that a lot of people are good at selling, but there's not that many people that's good at servitude. And when I talk about servitude, I mean communication. I mean connecting, meeting people where they are, serving them in a way that helps keep them assured, comfortable, engaged, informed, and connected. But a lot of people have mastered the art of sounding good, talking good, saying things that sound sweet to the ear. But when you actually start peeling back the layers of the deal after you've signed it, you come to find out that what felt like gold, what felt like was glitter, was actually just some dashes of some confetti sprinkled on a whole bunch of bovine feces. But anyway, bovine feces, that's a bull, I think. That's a bull, and feces is crap. So if you put that together, that's bullshit. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I mean by bovine feces. I'm sorry, Cynthia, go ahead.
All right. Let me reel it back in. So, let me play devil's advocate here. So, I do want to reiterate that, real estate is, investing is risky.
Yes.
Right. And you have to weigh the risk, right?
Absolutely.
And so, I think I think we can just be transparent in the deal that we did, it was based on a relationship. Right. Which is why we're sharing with you, trust, but, verify and have the end in mind. Because any of these deals can really go sour.
Absolutely.
Like, real estate is really strong now. The numbers can be right, but if something changes, you know, within any of those parameters, it can impact it, right? And so you have to keep that in mind. And I love your point about keeping the end in mind, right? So it's funny because I think most of the time I would have somebody review the contract, and I didn't, again, because it was based on a relationship, right? And so, because I've had a contract reviewed, and the attorney like literally turned the whole contract around, like redlined the whole thing. He was like, "No, it should be like this." And I went back to the person I was loaning the money to, and was like, "Hey, these are my revisions," and they was like, "Oh, that's fine," you know. So I know a lot of times, you know, in relationships, you definitely want to trust, but you have to remember that it's business. And I think that's the thing that I learned. That's my biggest lesson, is that because when you trust but verify, it will help you preserve the relationship as well. Yeah. So I just want to add that.
All right. Well, I mean, that was a good addition, because I was going off the deep end, and I can go off the deep end.
Okay.
So with that being said, hey, look, the bottom line, I think, is Cynthia hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's still business at the end of the day. And so you want to be smart, you want to be wise, you want to be thorough, because again, anything can happen in a deal, even if the parties involved does not expect. So again, make sure you have an exit plan. Go about it with the end in mind. Make sure you have a support team that's going to advocate for you, not a team that necessarily someone else said would advocate for you, but a team that you've actually sought out to advocate for you. Make sure that you secure your investment, right? Make sure that you thoroughly read and understand, even if it's with the professional, the documents that's involved, right? So that you don't wake up one night like Marcus Graham in Boomerang, and you look over at the nightstand, and your girl from Head of the Class, the one that married Mike Tyson, I don't know what her name is, but she just dropped you off with $200, and you clenching on to your covers like that, feeling used and abused. That's what we trying to get y'all to avoid. And we've been through that. Like Jay-Z said, we've been through that, so y'all don't have to go through that. All right. So with that being said, we thank you all again for joining another episode of Mastering Money Mondays. Again, be sure to like, subscribe, tell your mom and them. And until next week, you guys take care.
All right.
Peace.
Bye.